Have you ever heard the saying, "Don't poke the bear"? Well, today's story is about what happens when you don't just poke the bear. You elbow a United States Marine right in the face. And this wasn't just any Marine. This was Private First Class Samuel Phillips, a man whose quiet demeanor hid a core of steel forged in the toughest training imaginable, and the person who made this colossal mistake. None other than Brigadier General Wallace, a man whose polished stars and air of authority made him seem untouchable. This isn't just a story about a physical altercation. It's a clash of worlds, a battle between unearned arrogance and unbreakable spirit. It's about how one single, shocking moment in a crowded airport bar sent ripples all the way to the top of the military command, and taught a powerful general a lesson he would never forget. So grab your popcorn, because you're about to find out why hitting a Marine is always a very, very big mistake. Our story begins not on a battlefield, but in the sterile, bustling environment of a major international airport. PFC Samuel Phillips was on his way home, his first leave after a grueling deployment. The crisp lines of his uniform were a stark contrast to the casual travel wear of the civilians around him. For Samuel, this uniform wasn't just clothing. It was a symbol of his commitment, his sacrifice, and his identity as a Marine. He carried himself with a quiet dignity, a silent strength that comes from pushing your body and mind to their absolute limits. He wasn't looking for trouble. He was just a young man, barely out of his teens, looking forward to seeing his family, to feeling the familiar comfort of his own bed, to just being Sam again, even for a little while. He found a small table at a crowded airport bar, a place to decompress and wait for his connecting flight. He was just another face in the crowd, or so he thought. That's when Brigadier General Wallace made his grand entrance. Wallace was the kind of officer who wore his rank like a suit of armor. He wasn't just a general, he expected everyone to know it. He moved through the world with an air of entitlement, as if the rules that applied to mere mortals simply didn't apply to him. He was loud, boisterous, and his voice cut through the low hum of the bar as he held court with a small group of businessmen. They were laughing a little too loudly at his jokes, hanging on his every word. The general was in his element, the center of attention, a king in his temporary airport lounge kingdom. He saw the world in a clear hierarchy, with him perched firmly at the top. To him, an enlisted man like PFC Phillips was just part of the scenery, an insignificant cog in the great military machine that he commanded. He didn't see a man. He saw rank, and a low one at that. The tension in the air began to simmer. The bar was packed, and people were constantly maneuvering for space. General Wallace, becoming more animated and less aware of his surroundings, was gesturing wildly as he told a story. Samuel, focused on his phone and trying to tune out the noise, remained at his small table. In a sudden, careless movement, Wallace swung his arm back, his elbow connecting squarely with Samuel's face. The impact was sharp and shocking. Samuel's head snapped back, and for a moment, the entire bar seemed to fall silent. It was a moment frozen in time. The clinking of glasses stopped. Conversations died. All eyes turned to the young Marine in uniform and the Harankin general who had just struck him. Samuel's training kicked in. He didn't retaliate. He didn't curse. He simply placed a hand to his throbbing cheek, his expression a mixture of shock and controlled anger. He stood up, not to fight, but to face the man who had hit him. "Excuse me," Samuel said, his voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through him. "You just hit me." He kept his tone respectful, professional. This was the discipline of a Marine, the ability to remain calm and collected even when provoked. But General Wallace wasn't having it. Instead of an apology, he offered only disdain. "Watch where you're sitting, Private," he sneered, barely glancing at Samuel. The dismissive tone, the utter lack of remorse, was more insulting than the physical blow. Wallace turned back to his audience, expecting the matter to be closed. He had completely misjudged the situation. He had failed to see the iron will behind Samuel's respectful address. He saw a subordinate, not a fellow service member who deserved basic human decency, and in that moment, he sealed his own fate. Samuel wasn't going to let this go. The disrespect, not just to him but to the uniform he wore, was a line that had been crossed. What happened next was a masterclass in quiet defiance. Samuel didn't raise his voice. He didn't make a scene. He calmly pulled out his phone. The general, seeing this, scoffed. "What are you going to do, son?" "Call your mummy," he mocked, drawing laughter from his companions. But Samuel wasn't calling his mom. With steady fingers, he navigated to his contacts. He was about to make a call that would bypass the entire chain of command. Right there in the airport, he scrolled to a name that the general would have recognized instantly. A name that carried immense weight within the Marine Corps and beyond. It was a 4-star general. A man who had been Samuel's father's commanding officer and a close family friend for years. This wasn't about pulling strings. It was about seeking justice when the system right in front of him had failed. The general's smug smile began to fade as he watched the young Marine's calm determination. The power dynamic was about to shift, dramatically. Samuel made the call. He spoke quietly, but his words were clear and precise. He explained the situation, the unprovoked strike, the general's dismissive and insulting response. He reported it just as he would have reported any incident in the field, with facts, not emotion. On the other end of the line, the 4-star general listened intently. There was a pause, and then a simple instruction. "Stay put, son. I'll handle this." Within minutes, things started to happen. Airport security appeared, followed by military police. Suddenly, the loud, boisterous General Wallace found himself being quietly but firmly escorted away. His face was a picture of confusion and disbelief. How could this be happening? How could a mere private first class bring down a brigadier general? The businessmen who had been laughing with him moments before now avoided his gaze, melting back into the crowd. The king had been dethroned. The fallout for General Wallace was swift and severe. An official investigation was launched immediately. It wasn't just about the elbow. It was about his conduct, his arrogance, and his flagrant abuse of power. His behavior was deemed conduct unbecoming of an officer. Witnesses from the bar, including the staff and other patrons, all corroborated Samuel's account. They spoke of the general's arrogance and the young Marine's incredible restraint. The incident didn't just end with a slap on the wrist. General Wallace was formally reprimanded. His promising career came to an abrupt and embarrassing halt, and he was forced into early retirement. His stars, once a symbol of power, became a mark of his downfall. He had learned a harsh lesson. Rank is not a license for disrespect, and every single member of the armed forces, regardless of their insignia, deserves to be treated with dignity. For PFC Samuel Phillips, the incident became a quiet legend. He never bragged about it. When his leave was over, he returned to his unit and continued to serve with the same dedication and humility as before. He wasn't a hero for what he did. He was just a Marine who stood up for himself and for the values his uniform represented. His story served as a powerful reminder to everyone in the service. The strength of the Marine Corps isn't just in its firepower, but in the character of its individual Marines. It's in their discipline, their mutual respect, and their unwavering commitment to doing the right thing, even when it's hard. Samuel Phillips showed that true strength isn't about how many stars are on your shoulder, but about the integrity in your heart. This story is a testament to the core values of honor, courage, and commitment. It shows that in the military and in life, character is what truly matters. General Wallace forgot that, and it cost him everything. PFC Phillips lived by it, and in doing so, he upheld the honor of his entire branch of service. It's a powerful lesson that respect is earned, not demanded, and that sometimes the quietest voice could speak the loudest truth. What do you think? Was the punishment fitting for the general's actions? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more content. Just like this, we'll see you in the next one.